I wanted to introduce our speakers that we have today. We're very honored to have them. And I'll tell you just a little bit about what they do, and hopefully I'll give a pretty good description. But we've got Candace Chen, who's graduated in '08 from GGU. And Candace works for OneJustice as an Equal Justice Works AmeriCorps legal fellow.
Yeah.
And
really long title.
It really is. And OneJustice is a nonprofit that provides legal services to low-income population, and it trains attorneys who volunteer, trains them, and then has clinics and hooks up the low-income people with the attorneys to get free legal services. Is that a pretty good explanation of what you do?
Yes, we're a support center, legal support center, so we work with legal service agencies who provide legal services to low-income Californians, and we work with them to recruit law student volunteers and pro bono attorney volunteers to provide assistance, especially in this hard economic times where there's huge funding cuts to public interest legal service agencies. So we're here to support the community, the legal service community.
Thank you. That's a better explanation.
No.
Okay. Then we have Philip Batchelder, who is an '09 GGU grad. And Philip works in elder law. He works for Mitchell and Courts, and they do a lot of different things, not just specifically elder law, but elder law kind of encompasses a lot of things. So they do wills and trusts, conservatorships, and tax work, and kind of beyond it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of associated practice areas that come into play with estates and trusts, a lot of little business matters, things like that.
And then we have Gelwicks, who is a 2010 GGU grad, and he works for Owen, Wickersham, and Erickson, which is a IP firm which specializes in trademark, trade secret, copyright, and for competition, privacy,
publicity. Yeah, so only IP across the board minus the patent work, so trademark and copyright, and then all the various derivatives of that.
Great. Okay, so we invited them here to talk about how they found their jobs. And all three of them graduated fairly recently in this current economic climate. So we thought it would be especially pertinent for you to find out what they did and to use that to help you. So the first sort of question that I wanted them to talk about was what things that they did in law school, specifically when they were 3Ls, that they felt helped them obtain their current position. And I don't know, do you want to start, Eric? And
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the buzzword that everybody hears about that people like to ignore, but networking, or whatever you want to call it. I just network everywhere and anywhere, and networking doesn't mean walking into a big room full of attorneys and seeing how many people you can meet and get business cards. It's making connections out in the community, and that can be, you know, somebody that lives next to you, or somebody that you work with, or professors, students, and everybody else around you. And that, I mean, that paid off more than any other single approach for me, because it was all about finding those people that were connectors, to steal a Malcolm Gladwell term, that, you know, once you get in with one person that has a huge network of their own, then it's just you know, expands from there, and they're willing to get you in contact with those people, and it sort of has a snowball effect. So network anywhere and everywhere is what the main thing I would focus on.
Yeah, I agree. It's not something that came naturally to me, and you never really know when you might find yourself networking, because it can happen with your fellow students, it can happen with friends of your parents, it can happen with colleagues, or it can happen with people that you seek out to have a networking experience with them, whatever that is, whether it's having coffee, or going for a walk, or 5 minutes while you're waiting for the bar. I mean, you just never know when it's going to happen. And that translates directly into opportunity, you don't ever know when the opportunities might arise. You have to do some work to help create them and create space for them, but just really keep your radar tuned, because you never know where the opportunities are going to come from. And so, yeah, my approach to networking my last year was I got involved in an organization, the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. Went to their luncheons down the street here, and basically tried to let them know that I'm going to be graduating, I'm eventually going to be passing the bar, hopefully first time, and then I'm going to be part of this community, and I'm not going anywhere. So here I am, and I thought that was a good attitude to go in there with, because it gave me focus, and I just kept at it. And the people that I met in that organization connected me with the whole East Bay Trusts and Estates crowd, and gave me opportunities to build my resume some more, and literally one of them grabbed resumes out of my hand and started passing them out, which was kind of horrified me in a way. But this is the kind of thing that could happen, so you know, put yourself out there.
I think echoing Phil panelists up here, I'd say when I was in 3L, I hate the term networking, and I still do. And I like to think of it as relationship building, or getting to know future colleagues or current colleagues. You know, at networking events, I'm always at the food table, like just keeping my mouth filled with food and not really being effective in the room. So I think with networking or relationship building, you want to be, you never know who those connections will be, like Philip had mentioned, but also you want to be strategic and efficient, right? So if you're going to go into a room or a networking event with attorneys or law students that are in a field that you're not interested in, then that may not necessarily be the most effective for you as a 3L trying to find potential jobs in a particular area. So what I did when I was at 3L is I was public interest minded, so going to all the public interest events, finding a mentor who would do the things that Eric had mentioned about finding, you know, not just making those connections and asking the people that you meet to let you know, or to let their colleagues and friends know that you will be graduating, you'll be looking for a job, but finding a mentor who will do that for you, right? Because it's really hard to walk up or to just sort of talk with potential or prospective employers and say, hey, I'm a 3L, I'm interested. You know, what's the employment situation like at your law firm or legal service agency? And it's a great way for your mentor to be able to do that, right? And your mentor is already someone who is established attorney in the particular field, and that person can help you find those answers and make those connections.
Well, I'm going to mix up my questions a little bit because they jumped right into the networking talk. And I wanted to know specifically, when you were in law school, what other things did you do besides going to sort of events in the area you were interested in, whether it was public interest or elder law or IP? Did you contact people for informational interviews? How did you conduct those? Did you call up alumni? What other things did you do to kind of get out there and get known and let people know that you were going to be searching for work in a particular area?
Well, a basic one was to have an internship somewhere. I learned by doing, and so that satisfied that end of things, and it also could serve that dual purpose of building connections and relationships. But so getting an internship or a clerkship somewhere is very good. Very
Touched on before, organizations are a really valuable resource, and the nice thing is that while you're a student, it's really cheap to be a part of it, and you can also volunteer to be a part of it. The events they put on are often heavily understaffed because attorneys are busy, and if you volunteer as a student to like work a table, you're literally putting yourself in the line of fire because you're meeting every single person that comes to the event, which you know, I mean, if you work it right, it can be great because everybody will remember you. You might talk about you later, and who knows, you might be in front of them later on in your life for an interview or something like that. So organizations for $15, definitely sign up for as many organizations you can during your 3L year, because that'll carry for a full year. And the second year can no longer claim studentship. Your fees, you know, skyrocket, yeah, $300 or whatever. All of a sudden you're spending, you know, $290 more than you would have the day before or something like that. So even if it's remotely related to what you're specifically interested in, I would just, you know, spend the extra money, get the newsletters, get on the mailing lists, and start volunteering for stuff, and try to meet the people who run the organizations, because they often are those connectors that know everybody, that send emails to everybody, and all of a sudden you're expanding your network or your group. So organizations and participating in their events in whatever capacity they need and where you feel comfortable doing.
I think this is a great segue to what I do at OneJustice too, which is providing pro bono opportunities for law students. And it's a great way, especially I think you had mentioned in the survey that 20% or there's a certain percentage of students, you know, didn't know what type of job that they wanted to apply for post or after graduating and taking a bar. And volunteering, if it's at a law firm or a legal service agency, it's a wonderful way to get your hands in the cookie jar, and you know, with very limited commitment, right? I mean, the pro bono opportunities we offer, they're like one clinic, or sometimes they can last longer, but a lot of times it's just a few hours in the evenings or the weekends, and it's a great way for you to meet the staff attorneys from different agencies, get to talk to them, and it's not, you know, you're not sort of, if you don't like networking or you're shy about it, it's a different way to approach the situation, right? Because you're there volunteering, you're volunteering your time, you're meeting clients, but at the same time, you get a chance to sit next to and work with a staff attorney and sort of, hey, you know, how's it been like working at this organization? How long have you been there? You know, what do you like most about your job? So it's kind of like an informational interview that's in front of you, but in a less formal setting, and you have this rubric of your volunteering, doing pro bono opportunities. So I think it's like a great way to achieve both, get experience and sort of find out a little bit more about all the organizations that are out there.
Also, one other thing about informational interviews, I think they're fun, actually. I mean, they might be kind of intimidating for some people, I can understand that, but it's an opportunity to really sell yourself to somebody and to get them on your side. And I always treated informational interviews just as I would treat an interview. Know everything you can about what they do, what their company or firm or organization has hands in, what important cases maybe that attorney's worked on. Because the best way to get on somebody's side is to let them talk about themselves, and you know, you can be really interested and pretend like you're interested if you want to. It doesn't matter. But if you know something about them that you know you might have had to do a couple extra steps of research, that's going to go a long way instead of just coming in and asking really general questions. So if you come in and ask about, you know, how did you get attorney's fees for this trademark infringement case when their attorney's fees are really rare, then all of a sudden you have this whole world that they can talk about, and you can, you know, sort of be a part of for that afternoon and or whatever it is. Because I've had lunches with people, I've met with people in their offices, I've had drinks with people because that's what they wanted to do. And at the end of those opportunities, some people have said, look at all the people I'm connected to on LinkedIn, tell me who you want to be connected to. And from there, it's just a matter of how much you want to follow up and what you want to do. Because if you find people that are at the firm that you want to end up working at, then you can really say like, oh, this person said, you know, that, you know, I'd be a good candidate for your firm, and then they can follow up the email and refer you, and that's how you end up getting jobs, you know. It's one of those connect the dots kind of situations. But informational interviews, do them, but take them seriously, you know, dress the part, because ultimately it could be an interview, and you could end up working for those people, and they could end up being your, I guess, most zealous advocate.